everyone, my name is Brenna. I know it's been a while, but life is always evolving and changing, but we are back. Today is the day that I decided to come into this beautiful place to experience life in its entirety. And so within these 2 decades, I would like to share what I've learned, and hopefully this helps you guys in any way, shape, or form. So first, your perception of yourself is what holds you back. We all have these certain identities that we create about ourselves that may be rooted in fear or the fear of rejection, which causes us to have these internal conflicts and barriers that prevent us from achieving what we actually want. Whether it's through the fear of being perceived by others, the fear of being judged by them, we are inflicting that onto ourselves through our belief system. But I want you to realize that nothing is ever physically holding us back. Our minds are. Sometimes the only thing preventing us from getting what we want is the belief that we're not capable of having it. So second, stay authentic. As I always say, authenticity is the highest frequency there is, as you're always behaving in a way that aligns with your highest self. The lack of authenticity happens when the ego wants to perform rather than truly experience. I don't mean being completely unfiltered or always saying the first thing that's on your mind. I mean being honest about who you are, what you feel, what you want, and what you believe. I also think authenticity gets misunderstood as having to stay exactly the same as you are. You're allowed to change your mind, discover new things, and become someone different than who you were before. You don't have to hold on to an identity just because you've always had it or because people are used to seeing you that way. Being authentic means that you can evolve without having to perform that evolution of yourself for anyone else. You can create yourself while being honest about who you are in every single moment. So third, heal your inner child. Some of the negative discourse that we see or harmful behavior inflicted by others may stem from unhealed childhood wounds. People may act from their trauma, which imposes more trauma to those around them. For example, a parent who got abused when they were growing up, if they didn't heal from that trauma, will most likely make their children suffer the same way that they did, which creates a cycle of abuse and trauma that applies not only to that family, but generations afterwards if no one does the required work to heal from it. Doing this work to heal is so important because when you don't, it may show up in other ways throughout your life. You might find yourself reacting to people in ways that you don't understand, repeating patterns that you swore you would never repeat, or treating someone the same way someone else treated you. Healing is recognizing those patterns and deciding that they don't have to continue through you. 4, practice gratitude every single day. Every day we are alive is a new opportunity to learn and create and experience and evolve. Never take this opportunity for granted. The fact that we are alive right now, living and breathing, deserves to be treated with the highest respect and honor because it is just really extraordinary. I think it's really easy to overlook how incredible our lives are just because we're used to them. We're so focused on wanting the next experience that we forget things are happening in our life right now that we may someday look back on and wish we still were in that same place. Gratitude is what brings your attention back to what you already have instead of constantly searching for something more. So 5, never think you are above someone. You are not above a homeless person or someone working in a service industry or anyone else for that matter. Simply because you think you have superiority over the possessions that they have, the money they make, what they've achieved with their lives. We are all in this experience together, just trying to live. Just because someone is less fortunate or has had different life circumstances than you does not make you superior to them. It's really easy for the ego to turn these things into hierarchies. What makes us human is not inherently more important or less valuable than what another person has. So 6, you are responsible for the reality you participate in. There are some things completely outside of our control, and we will all experience what we didn't intentionally choose, but we are responsible for what we continuously participate in, such as what we tolerate, what we give our attention to, the people we surround ourselves with, and ultimately the meaning we assign to every single experience. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it and what we choose to do moving forward. If something constantly makes you unhappy or miserable, you have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself why you are continuing to entertain it, participate in it. The people we surround ourselves with, the things we consume, the beliefs that we have, the environments we stay in, all become part of our reality. And I want you to remember that you do have agency over your life. So 7, take accountability for yourself. There's a huge difference between understanding yourself and actually being responsible for yourself. Awareness doesn't mean much if you do nothing with it. You have to be willing to admit when something in you needs to change. Sometimes we want to take the easy way out and believe that people around us are the reason why we're unhappy, that they're the reason why we're stuck. But the change we're waiting for has to happen within us. And I want to make this distinction because if something was entirely someone else's fault, that would mean that you don't have the power to change it, when in reality you do. You can't control everything that you experience, but you can take responsibility for the person experiencing it. So 8, share love whenever you can. I don't think love should be something that you just solely contain for yourself. If you have the ability to make someone feel seen, appreciated, cared for, why wouldn't you? We typically underestimate our interactions with people, but treating someone with kindness can completely change their day or the way that they see the world. I don't think love should only be reserved for the people closest to us. You don't need a deep conversation with everyone to treat them like a human being worthy of kindness and respect. And if we're all just here temporarily experiencing this life together, one of the most meaningful things we can do with our time here is to make this experience a little bit more beautiful for each other. So number 9, be mindful of your energy. Energy is something that we are constantly exchanging with everyone. And so I'm saying it's important to become conscious of what you allow to influence you, because eventually, like I said, what you surround yourself with will ultimately become a part of your reality. Being mindful of your energy doesn't mean that you have to entirely ignore anything negative. Life is inevitably going to contain anger, sadness, grief, and those things are inherently bad since they're a part of being human. What matters is if you're consciously experiencing those things or unconsciously letting them consume you. There's a huge difference in feeling an emotion and allowing it to become your identity. You can be around negativity without allowing it to dictate the way that you should behave and treat others. Being mindful of your energy is being aware of what you're consciously carrying. 10, do some form of exercise if you're able to. Taking care of your body is one of the most important ways that you can care for yourself. Your body is a vessel in which you get to experience this reality, so we should treat it with respect and care. And I want you to realize that exercise isn't just completely physical. Notice how when you move your body, you may feel more connected to it. I know I feel more present whenever I do exercise. There's something really special about doing something physical in a world where we're constantly living in our minds. Take care of the body that allows you to experience this life. 11, the universe is neutral. You assign meaning to everything. I said in my other video, the universe doesn't label anything as good or bad. Something happens and then we interpret it. When I say that the universe is neutral, I don't mean that existence is meaningless. I mean that we are the ones that interpret our experiences and decide what they mean to us. Something can be an ending or a beginning. Something can be a failure or information. Something can be a rejection or redirection. Meaning is something that we always have the ability to create. So 12, beauty has nothing to do with appearances. We've been taught to associate beauty with appearances, that we've forgotten what beauty actually is. Beauty exists in so many things that has nothing to do with appearance or aesthetic. It's someone's kindness, someone's passion, the way someone sees the world, and someone's ability to remain kind even after they've experienced something that can make them just full of anger and bitter. There's something infinitely more beautiful about someone's essence rather than their appearance. Constantly evaluating yourself and how you look can take you out of the experience of being alive. You're supposed to experience your body, not spend your entire life observing it and deciding whether it's good enough. If the world were blind, would appearance really matter? I don't think so. Essence does. 13, not everything requires a reaction. Just because something happens doesn't mean that you have to respond to it immediately. Sometimes we really do give something our energy that doesn't really require it, or we give our energy to something that's undeserving of it. Be able to pause and think before reacting. And sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. 14, detachment is a form of freedom. Attachment can make you suffer because you start believing that something has to happen or you have to have something in order to be fulfilled. Detachment doesn't mean being indifferent to others or being emotionless. It's caring without needing to control the outcome. It's wanting something but being okay if you don't get it. You can have dreams of your life without being completely obsessed with the way that it's supposed to unfold, which is where the freedom comes from, because you're open to the possibility of what can happen and not the desire to control everything. You can desire something without making your happiness dependent on it. So 15, let others be who they are. One of the biggest forms of control is trying to make people fit in to that version that you have constructed of them in your head. Just as I advise you to stay authentic, I want you to allow others to be the same. We typically want people to communicate the way that we do, love the way that we do, and just make decisions that we would make, but people are going to be who they are. Of course, I don't mean tolerating harmful behavior or abuse from anyone. You can have boundaries and still accept that someone is just the way that they are. Also, it is really just unfair to have someone live up to your standards. So 16, you don't find yourself, you create yourself. I think we're constantly looking for an answer to the question of who am I, as if there's supposed to be one definitive answer. You're constantly creating your identity. Every decision you make is a step towards it. The things you give your attention to and the things you refuse to become. We talk about identity like it's something that we're given when it's what we actively create. If you keep choosing resentment will ultimately be a part of your life. If you keep choosing compassion, discipline, love, and creativity, then you will see that a part of your identity. I don't think the question is, who am I? The better question is, who am I choosing to become? Don't assume that you're finished and always continuously evolve. 17, the present moment is all that truly matters. We spend so much of our lives living in the past or having anxiety about the future that we completely miss the only moment that we're actually experiencing. We only ever really have this moment right here and now. Your entire life is made up of moments that are constantly fleeting and disappearing. Again, this moment is the only thing that you're actually experiencing. 18, don't let the search of what's next distract you from what's here. One of the easiest ways to miss out on your life is to always be mentally somewhere else. If we're constantly thinking about what we're going to achieve, what we're going to do next, we may not see what's exactly in front of us. Wanting your future does not mean that you have to reject your present. 19, the divine exists in everything and through you, so honor it. The divine isn't just something that exists entirely away from us. I see it through nature, through people, through consciousness, through love, through existence itself. I think there's something really powerful that you don't have to seek something outside of yourself to be a part of something extraordinary. You're already a part of it. The way that we treat ourselves matter. The way that we treat others matter. The way that we treat nature matters. When you look at another person, you're looking at another form of divinity experiencing life here with you. 20, always seek knowledge of yourself. There's probably no greater subject that you'll study other than yourself. I don't mean your favorite color, your personality type, or the things that you like. I mean actually trying to understand who you are. You're the one experiencing your entire life, so shouldn't you be curious about who that person is? Know yourself so you can consciously create yourself. And the last one, of course, 21, everything around us is temporary, so experience it fully. Our relationships, our bodies, our experiences, the people around us, they are all temporary. If we had forever, maybe we wouldn't care as much, experience all of it, love people, go places, make mistakes, be embarrassed, try things you're afraid of, let yourself feel everything, and most importantly, create and learn. Just be human, because one day, all of this will be memories. So let me leave you with this. Stop observing your life from the outside. Stop performing. Know yourself, love people, honor the divine, and actually experience being alive.